Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum. How are you today? I'm back here to give you some more information about development. So today my topic is globalization and development, how globalization and development are related to each other and what kind of impact of globalization on development. So first let's see what is globalization. So globalization, if you simplify this concept, you can say that economic, political and cultural integration among different countries is globalization. So it's a kind of borderless world, and if you see politically or economically, the free movement of labor or goods or services and capital is globalization. But if you look at under the current scenario, as I earlier said in one of my videos, that globalization is still there, but nationalism is flourishing. Nationalism is getting empowered and more people are confined within their borders physically. But if you look at the virtual world, like you are taking classes on Google Classroom, and many other people are connected beyond the borders. Like some people have joined online courses from the websites or universities who are offering them courses from other countries. So it's a borderless virtual world, but people are physically confined to their territories because of this pandemic situation. So the cultural, economic and political integration among countries is globalization. So let's move ahead, and if you look at, I will discuss three different concepts of globalization. One is economic, one is political, and the other one is cultural. So let's talk about the economic globalization. So the economic globalization is economically globalized phenomena. The types of economic globalization are like there are so many institutions all over the world. Like for example, WTO, World Trade Organization, it regulates the business activities of countries. Like they give you a platform and they give you some terms of services to, how you can do business with other country or other organization or other international institute or body. So WTO is a very good example. Then MNCs, the multinational corporations. Like for example, if you look at McDonald's, or if you look at PayPal, or if you look at different chains like big brands, they are working in different countries, several countries all over the world. So MNCs, sometimes they actually dictate the governments, and they are so powerful. They have money. They can buy anything they want, and sometimes they influence the country's policies, local policies. Anyway, so MNCs are example of economic globalization. Then if you look at IMF and World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and they are also very powerful, and they have a very big impact in globalized world. So economically, in most of region, IMF and WB, they control their fiscal policies in those countries. So that's another very big example. So if you look at the another scenario like mass migration, the immigration policies of different countries are so attractive. They persuade people, they attract different people to come to their countries and work there and make their economy stronger. So that's also economic globalization. So in this way, they actually migrate people from different countries. They attract people who are very skilled, and they have knowledge, they have vision, they have education, they have everything. So when they go to these countries who are attracting them, they make the local economy very strong. And then if you look at technology, technology plays a very big role in development. So if you look at globalization of technology, we are using computers, and most of time we use different software. Like I'm using Windows in my laptop, and I'm using Android and iOS in my cell phones. So if you look at these companies, these are American companies, and they have built this software so that you are using, and I think Windows is used by every other computer in the world, all over the world. So this is a very good example of technological globalization. The second one is political globalization. In current scenario, if you look at the pandemic situation around the world, so international NGOs, you can give a very good example of international NGOs in this situation. They are working hard to help the countries in controlling pandemic situation. So international NGOs is a very big example of political globalization. They have political agendas as well. So we will discuss this in different, some other time in different video. So and political, there's another phenomenon which is very powerful, that is religious globalization. So if you look at different religions like Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, any other religion on earth, they are globalized. Like if you look at Islam only, you can find Muslims in every corner of the world. Similarly, you can find Christians and Hindus and Sikhs and Buddhists everywhere in the world. So it's a globalized phenomena, and they have very big like influence within those areas, and they spread all over the world. So it's a globalized kind of phenomena, religion. And if you look at the political and regional alliance, defense alliance, like NATO, and you can give example of United Nations and its subsidiaries all over the world, and they have very good connections between them. And look at NATO, look at SAARC, look at SCO, and these are regional and international alliances. So they're not only dealing with the economic and political affairs, but they are also dealing with defense and security matters as well. And there is one more phenomenon which has emerged in the recent years, that is terrorism. So if you look at terrorism is almost everywhere nowadays. So Pakistan has got so much loss because of terrorism, especially since 9/11. So after the 9/11, we lost more than 100,000 people in terrorist activities in Pakistan, and we lost so much money. We have terrorism has actually destroyed our infrastructure in Pakistan, and especially our northern areas and FATA areas. They have destroyed everything, almost everything in those areas. So it's a globalized phenomena that is from Middle East, from Afghanistan to America to Africa even, and in different parts of the world. So terrorism is a very big globalized phenomena. Okay, so if you look at the third one, which is cultural globalization, the movies of Bollywood, Hollywood, and even Chinese movies, I can call it Chollywood. So it's everywhere. Like everybody watches Hollywood movies. Like nowadays, I'm watching Hollywood movies whenever I get time on Netflix and even on YouTube. So they have very big impact everywhere. Previously, governments were using these movies to spread their political agendas, to spread their voices about some certain policies. Like you can take examples of a Rambo movie, which was made in Hollywood, and during the Cold War time, these movies were actually presenting, propagating the American power against the Russian power. So if you look at movies which were made during those eras, during the Cold War, you can see this pattern very well. So the other example of cultural globalization is language. If you look at English language, and it's everywhere. Like you can speak English while living in Pakistan, India, even China, in Africa, everywhere. You can speak English everywhere. So when I visit those countries and on the airports, I have no other communication tool than English. So it is understood by everybody, almost in most of the countries. And we can take another example of dress. If you look at jeans, jeans is everywhere. Like you cannot imagine, it's everywhere. So people wear jeans happily. It's a very easy kind of dress. People feel comfortable with it. Even some people sleep in jeans. And I used to sleep when I was in college. And it's very handy, and you can actually do anything you want while wearing jeans. So jeans is a very good example of cultural globalization. And another example is food. Like you can find McDonald's or you can find KFC on every corner of this planet. So food is everywhere. So food is a very big example of cultural globalization. So these are actually examples of globalization, different types of globalization, and they have very big impact on development. Okay, so thank you for today's discussion. If you have any question, just let me know. I'll be available online during your classes and during your given time. So let me know if you want to discuss this in detail, and I will try to make different questions from these topic areas. Okay, thank you. Stay tuned. Allah Hafiz.